Hi everyone. I am here to do a flip through of my most recently completed personal junk journal. And this is it. It weighs almost 3 pounds. It's got quite big. And it actually covers months April, May, June, July, and August. And in this particular one, I sewed in the signatures, but I was random about where I put, what pages I worked on. So it's not in chronological order. And my next junk journal that I've already started is not sewn in, and it is going to be in chronological order. So I keep changing my mind on how to do these things. But anyway, I will take you through a flip through of this. I personally like short videos, and I have a feeling this will not be particularly short, but I'll try to go relatively quickly. So got some fun stuff sticking out the sides there. It's a good thing I had the tie because it was really getting quite large for closing. As I said, I include things from April, May, June, July, and August in this, and my husband has a desk calendar, and he just tosses the months over to me when he's done with them, so I used them for the front of that and just noted specific things that were going on. I just love this page. I love that this cat is just peeking around this little area here. I love being greeted with that whenever I open, and naturally I had to have pictures of my cats. They're just so adorable. They're Iris and Lily, and I just think they're so cute. I can't stop taking pictures of them. So this is a lot of items actually from one of my pen pals, and she sends me amazing things. The front of this is a collage that she made, a copy of a collage that she made, and inside are a variety of the things that she sent me, including some of her greeting cards and a few of the little items that she sent along. She's always sending me goodies, and anyway, it's really fun. These are just little those little things that stick in the soil that tell you what your plants are, and this is from my hanging planters off of my decks. And this is just a little bit about the herb garden that I also have on the other deck, and I just used my punches and punched out these little flowers. I kind of thought that was kind of cute. I wanted to do a little more writing in this journal, so I started writing about just junk journals, and that's what that is. This calendar page, I usually don't cover them up, and I didn't this time. This is a fun flyer poster from our local farmer's market, and I just liked it, so I put it there. And these are just some freebies I got on the first day of the opening of the farmer's market. I don't really like that page much, but anyway. I stopped at an estate sale, and I got a book that was published in 1909, I believe, and 1901. And it was supposedly about interpretation of various things in dreams. And one night I had a very weird dream that I remembered in the morning, involving some stairs. So I wrote about that a little bit here, and then I found a page that talked about stairs and wrote about it, and put that page in here too. This is some cute background paper, and Cat Collage Club has a freebie, and I included images from that, and that is Lily, and this is Iris with her one green eye and her one blue eye. These are postcards from a postcard exchange, and that I did, and fun ones that I received. And there's one more here And I wrote about that, and then these are the postcards that I sent out. Postcard, the Collage Collective is the name of the group, and this is a handwritten note by the famous Marguerite Miller. So, thanking me for participating. So I kept that. My daughter introduced us to a new Asian restaurant, a real variety of Asian dishes. And so I wrote about that. And she is also quite a cook. And these are actually pictures of some of the meals that she made. She often sends me them when she's particularly pleased with the way they look. This is just some stuff from a day I spent with my daughter back in June. We went to her CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. She signs up ahead of time, and then every week she goes, during the growing season, she goes and picks up her produce. And they also offered free flowers, pick your own flowers. So I've gone with her a couple of times and picked bouquets. And then we went to a restaurant for lunch. This red and white background is the tissue paper that comes in a tray, and then we went out to lunch. There's a little classic car show down in the waterfront, so I went down there with my husband. I haven't done journal prompts or questions in the past, but I decided to this time, and these are from Emma Duran's, and I like the pictures, so I just, and the questions were, what is your favorite childhood memory? And if you could start life again, would you? And what would you change? So I wrote about that. This is a collection of wine labels. Now that I know how to soak wine labels off without tearing them, I like to do that every time. And this is a sort of a 2-page spread of just a collage of labels that I liked for some reason or another, and a couple of tea tags and a little bit of washi tape. These are more wine labels. Some of them are actually from a party that my sister has that I wrote about later. More wine labels there. My husband really surprised me and brought me flowers one time, and this was what the package, or what they were in, and so I used that and wrote about that. My grandsons came and visited this summer. Stevie came one time, and he's very aware that our cats are very shy around kids, and so one of the first things he wanted to do was make a safe place for the cats. So I found some cardboard, and we started working on a little shelter for the cats, for them to be safe while he was over. And he is quite a reader, so I wrote about that. And then another time, my grandson Lyle came over, and he likes to work on scrapbooking stuff. He started his own scrapbook, and we usually work on that when he comes over. And so there's just some pictures of him. We were trying to make bubble paper, and then I just wrote about that. So that was fun. Oops. There's another day I went to the CSA with my daughter, and I love this illustration. It was from a 1951 magazine, and then these are actually tattoos, temporary tattoos that you put on your hands, but of course I use them for my journal. So I just wrote about that day. Again, I got some more flowers. We went to Red Robin for lunch, and I love their business cards. They're so cute. So skipping way ahead to August, I took a road trip down to California, and I stopped in Portland, and I met up with a woman that my sister and I met when we were in England. And I had finished my England album, so I brought that with me. So I stopped in Portland for coffee, met up with her, showed her my album, and wrote about that. This is just a thank you note writing about Lauren's good gift giving. And this is just a collage I made with a bunch of green and white stuff. Here's my favorite Bible verse at the moment. And I wrote about that. Talked about how that's contrasts with the depressing news cycle. This is way back in May from my daughter's birthday, and she has a black cat, and I put this on the front of her package, but she is not an ephemera keeper, so I kept it, and I just wrote about what we did that day. She and my husband and I went to a movie, and then we went to a ramen place for lunch, and then we stopped at a cookie place, cow chip cookies. I'm back to my trip in August. When I arrived in where my sister lives, we went out to lunch, and of course I kept a ephemera from that. And then the next day, my sister had a garden party, and I took pictures there, and that's what this is about. Again, still on this trip, my sister goes to a workout place that's really impressive. It's called The Perfect Workout. You ought to look it up. It's really amazing. And I just did pages about that, and also a page for just doing errands. I just like hanging out with her, and I don't really care what we're doing that much. So, and another day we went to the farmer's market in San Ramon where she lives, and so I got some pictures of that. I had been thinking about old-fashioned cocktails, and so just for fun, some of the nights that I was in California, we tried different kinds of cocktails, and I wrote about that. We also tried a new restaurant, actually a takeout place. It's salads, but they're really good, and really an amazing place called Mixed, M-I-X-T. And so we got some of that to go, and they were huge and good, and we had them over 2 days. This was way back in June. My husband and daughter and I went out to a Mexican restaurant, and the little plaid paper is what the present that my daughter gave my husband for Father's Day was wrapped in. Back to California again on this trip, and one of the reasons I went down there was to celebrate my brother's life. He passed away in November, and this is where we had a little memorial and ashes scattering for him, and that's just some pictures of family, and if I want to come across a good picture of him, I'm going to put that there too. When I stayed with my sister-in-law, I made friends with her cat Stripes, and he's a really nice cat. However, he's an indoor-outdoor cat, and he brought in a dead rabbit that he killed and was playing with it, and yeah, I wasn't that crazy about that. So I got again, I don't know what this is, but I got it in the mail, and it just cracks me up, so I used it. One time, my sister and I, again in California, went to the city of Danville and went out to lunch at a gluten-free restaurant, and there's the menu for that, and it was really good. Of course, we got goodies to take with us too. And then right near there was an exhibition of paper art, and she knew I'd be interested in that, so we went to see that, and that was just, yeah, so I wrote about that on that. It's an enjoyable day. I like that. One thing you can always count on is change. On this page, I was talking about how Netflix is no longer going to be sending actual DVDs out. We were one of the few people apparently that continue to do that, so I just documented the end of that era. A little thank you note to my husband, just stickers. My sister and I, again, on this trip to California, went to the cute seaside town of Benicia, and we shopped, and we had lunch out, and we took a selfie. So that's what that's about. These are just some lists of what we did when I was on that trip. I was there a little over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so. And these are some business cards and ephemera from some of the places where we ate. I like these next ones. I live near the waterfront, and that's where I usually walk in the mornings. And this year I've seen a lot of herons. And in addition to that, somebody in our complex sometimes leaves free for the taking Birds and Blooms magazines, which of course I take. And there was an article about herons in this one, about herons and other waders. So I thought that was perfect, and I put that in the middle. And yeah, just wrote about that. Wrote about seeing them, but all these pictures, these 4 pictures I took, I think they're pretty cool. It's like they're posing for me. Speaking of birds, we got a hummingbird feeder, and I was all excited when they started using it. It's just a feather I found on the ground. There was a large bird on the fishing pier, and it was different than what I'm used to seeing, and I was a little intimidated. I thought it might be a hawk, but it turns out it was a young eagle. So wrote about that. Yeah, I got some really beautiful views this summer. It was a beautiful summer for Seattle area, and I just wrote about that. I particularly like this one, dark clouds and then lighter sky, and then the white snow-capped mountains, and then the dark of the island across the way, and then the water. Anyway, I just thought that was really cool, and I wrote about that. And pretty flowers growing around here too, so I took a lot of pictures of those and wrote about that. I've thought about doing a sort of a personal junk journal glossary before, so I added that here again, really taking up space in my journal. For some reason, I wanted this journal, I wanted to do something on every single page, and I was getting desperate towards the end. But yeah, just my own personal junk journal glossary. This is, the town I live in is Des Moines, and yes, you do pronounce the S in this case. And this is just from magazines and flyers, except this picture I took. And so this is Seattle up here, and this is Des Moines down there, so we're a little ways from Seattle. This is the first zine, actually the only zine I've made, and I made it quite a long time ago, but just kind of, you know, positive kind of things. I sent it to some friends, and they didn't quite know what to do with it, which, you know, I kind of don't blame them for. This, I was determined not to buy anything. I've got so much stuff I could probably go the rest of my life without having to buy anything, but I gave in to a special and bought some things, so I just saved the packaging for that, from them. I actually get an email from something called oh, what is it? I think I wrote it. Peachy Cheap every day, and they do really have good deals, especially if you love, you know, to buy this kind of thing. So you might want to check it out. Cheap. What is it again? Peachy Cheap. And so that's where I got those. That's a napkin decoupage. This is a day my husband and I just decided to ride our light rail all the way from one end to the other. And we don't live far from the south end, and we rode it all the way to the north end, so I just documented that. And we got out, we walked around, we found a place to eat lunch. And on the way back, I had a fabulous view, beautiful blue sky that day. I had a fabulous view of Mount Rainier, and the Blue Angels were flying in to for their annual air show in Seattle, and I got a fabulous view of them flying in for the first time while I was on the light rail, so that was fun. That was cool. This is just more brochures and kind of about where we live, and yeah, just wrote about that. I just seem to really enjoy where I'm living this summer, which is great. This is back to that trip in August down to California, and yeah, that's just wrote about how I even like the drive, even when I'm by myself. I always stay at a Super 8 in Wairika, and this is at a restaurant, Mexican restaurant where I ate. Go to Black Bear Diner. This is from the hotel. Again, I'm kind of just, using up pages, but these are rules that I actually use. When I start to get bogged down, I tell myself, don't overthink it. And then when it's done, when I love it or like it or I'm okay with it or I can't stand it anymore and have to move on. And this is, I think, the very last page I did. And I just, took red lids and put them in different colors of paint and put them on there and then wrote around them. I actually really like it. I think I'll do that again. This is an advertisement for deodorant from a 1951 magazine. These are just a couple of pages about financial information. This was one of the first pages I started doing. We drink a lot of decaf tea, and on the back they've started having little notes. So I just made this sort of orange and yellow page, and then started it over here too. This is the menu from a restaurant I ate in with some friends on my way home from my California trip. It's a cute little postcard from from Chris, my one of my pen pals. And these are some leftover pictures from my trip to England with my sister. I did an album as well, but I had some leftovers, so I put them together, and this is a postcard. And these are pictures from in York, which we really loved. This is an envelope made from my other pen pal, Sue, and covered up her address with this little post office thing and Happy Mail. And it's, yeah, I just love the map, and I've got some of her little notes inside as well. That's a little quote I did. I'm not really crazy about this page, but trade your expectation for appreciation. The world changes instantly. Back in July, my cousin came for a visit, and the next couple of pages are about that and what we did. We were went to a living history museum in Tacoma, ate in this restaurant. One day, on July 23rd, it was a very busy weekend in Seattle. A lot of big events. Taylor Swift was doing a concert here. The Seattle Mariners were playing. We had several cruise ships in port. It was a gorgeous day. And we kept saying all week, this is a good day to stay out of the city. And then, of course, we went into the city that day. We rode the light rail in and just walked around and enjoyed the sunshine, and people watched. And then we went to Pike Place Market and to Pike Brewing and had a beer. This is something from Chris, and this cute card is also from Chris. So I wrote about that. When my sister and I came back from England, she stayed an extra few days, and we went to Seattle Symphony concert. They were playing Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony. So I have ephemera from that, including the program. And I just wrote about that here. That's Benaroya Hall, where they play. Again, writing some more about just junk journaling. And here's 2 more questions from Emma Durans regarding the, her journaling questions. So I wrote about that. I really like these pages. This is my son-in-law was took part in the Seattle to Portland bicycle ride this year. And here's pictures of, well, not that one. Here's pictures of him riding in that. But also, this is just from a magazine. I had cut that out a long time ago. I thought it would be perfect to use on this page. But Dan, when he was in 7th grade, he got out of school a couple weeks early and rode across the entire country with his grandfather, bicycled across the entire country with his grandfather. So some of these pictures are from that. That was him and his grandfather. And the irony, one of my favorite parts of the story, is that the one teacher, he was an excellent student, and all the teachers excused him, except his physical education teacher. She docked his grade a little bit because he was taking off early. Never mind that he was bicycling across the country. Here's pictures of them back in the day. So that was 1980 something. Let's see if I can, no, I can't remember exactly, but, 89. And then this was an article, a newspaper article about them. My husband and daughter and I went to see Oppenheimer, and I was lamenting the fact that you do so much with your phone now that we're missing out on ephemera. So I made my own, or used some of old tickets and put tickets behind there. And we went out for ramen afterwards. And this is just a miscellaneous page full of stuff. My good friend Pat is an actor, and she was in, she did repertory theater this year, and she sent me the program for that, and these are some notes she wrote while she was there. This is from a pen pal, and these actually come off. They're little stickers. You could take them off, but I liked it the way it is. My daughter and I went to see the movie Barbie, and we went out to Chipotle afterwards, and so I wrote a little bit about that. We got a kick out of it because two buff guys were sitting right down the table from us, and they both had Barbie t-shirts on. Thought that was fun. These are probably my other favorite page. My grandson Lyle came to stay with us again, and he actually introduced me to Cuphead, which is a new cartoon character and video game. And I loved it because it's got that old-fashioned look from when I was a kid, not the manga style that you see all the time now. I just got such a kick out of this. So I found some images and wrote a little bit about that, as well as his visit here. And I love the primary colors in this: red, green, or red, blue, and yellow. And we also went to Red Robin. It's kind of a tradition now, and of course I got some more business cards. And this is, they only had photocopies of the kids menu, so they didn't have the usual things that kids can do while you're waiting for your meal. And so we played tic-tac-toe and did squiggles and things like that on the back instead. So of course I had to save that. And I just love these little guys. So, and this is the covering from a light bulb. And my husband just left it there while he changed the light bulb for me. And so I did this I covered it up with paper and put a napkin in, and then just went around with stickers. So anyway, that is it, and I am done and ready to move on to my next journal. Thank you very much. If you hung in here, I really appreciate it. If you even stopped by, I appreciate it. So thanks very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.